I know working and or studying remotely can be quite exhausting sometimes. I often find myself not feeling like doing anything or just lacking on concentration or motivation. Actually, a lot of people feel like this, and I'm assuming you're one of them since you clicked on this video. Perhaps you felt like staying in bed today or continue watching the new series you started recently. Either way, you made it here. You chose to watch this video because you want to change. You want to change your mindset and get things done. So I hope this video can help you out further. Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Nikki and I appreciate you for being here. Today I want to share some things that have been very much helping me stay motivated and get things done during times like these. I know I'm making this video pretty late because we've been in a pandemic for quite some time now, but as most people I was struggling with motivation as well, especially when it comes to studying, so I had to learn to adjust myself first in order to give some advice. So I hope this video does not come too late. I know I'm lucky to be able to study at home and have my own room because I know it's not the same for everyone, but nevertheless I still hope I can give you some helpful advice. So without further ado, let's start. So I divided my advice into two sections. First, we're going to talk a little bit about your emotions and your feelings and how you can build kind of like a strong mindset, and then in the second part I'm going to talk a little bit about some tips that I have that you can physically do which will help you to stay motivated. But essentially the most important part is in your mind, so it's important that you connect with yourself and understand your feelings and emotions. So let's start with talking about this. So whenever I feel unmotivated, unproductive, or I procrastinate, I often find myself stressing out about it and beating myself up for being a certain way. But just know it's totally normal to feel some type of way sometimes, especially now that things are changing or that things have changed for us. Accept your feelings and emotions as they are rather than like denying it or stressing out about it. I know this sounds so easy in theory, but it's actually very hard to do in reality. But just know life has its ups and downs, and sometimes you feel good, sometimes you don't. So rather than stressing out about the things that you have done in the past or that you didn't do in the past, just focus on the things that you can do now and start now. Essentially, accepting your past is the first step on improving your future. Why focus on the things that you can change anyway when you have so much ahead? Right? The reason why I personally think it is so important to connect with yourself and kind of like accept your emotions and your feelings right now is because it helps you build a stronger mindset, because you kind of learn to deal with those emotions. And then this way they won't overwhelm you sometime, because if you just ignore them and tell yourself that you're not allowed to feel a certain type of way, then maybe sometime later those emotions will come back to you and then they will overwhelm you again, which means you will fall back into your unmotivational procrastination hole and the cycle starts again. So it's better to prevent or minimize those things from happening in the beginning. Right? Things that have helped me personally to understand my emotions, connect with myself and my feelings have been definitely journaling, yoga, meditation, reading, and also listening to podcasts. The reason why I like journaling so much is because I can just dump my emotions, my feelings, my thoughts all onto paper, and it helps me to like structure everything. Most of the time my mind is just a big chunk of thoughts and emotions and everything is pretty messy and not organized. So when I journal, I kind of like start to understand what I'm actually thinking and why I'm feeling a certain type of way. I personally really like to use my brain dump journal, that's how I call it, where I would write all my thoughts on there whenever I feel like it. But there's also something called morning pages, which is basically you journal every morning and write down your thoughts. It just helps you to get a good start in your day. So if you're thinking of journaling, I would definitely recommend you doing that. But if you don't really like to write, you can also do like a video diary or a video journal. I've also been really enjoying yoga. I also tried meditation sometimes, but I still have to get into it a little bit more. But so far I've been really enjoying doing yoga in the morning. It just helps me calm my mind, erase all the stressing thoughts that I always used to have. I heard exercising in general is very good for your mind. I'm sure everyone heard that as well, but personally I don't really like heavy intense exercises or workouts, so yoga is the perfect fit for me. I've also been reading and listening to podcasts, more so listening to podcasts because I haven't been reading as much as I wanted to. Personally, I really like to listen to motivational or inspirational podcasts to help me feel motivated and wanting to be productive and wanting to do something, especially when the person who's doing the podcast is going through a similar thing that I'm going right now. Maybe they feel unmotivated, maybe they feel uninspired. So when I listen to someone who puts my emotions and thoughts into words and gives advice on how to improve, I mean, obviously it's gonna help, right? So the podcast that I've been listening to these days, which I've been really enjoying, is is from Eileen from Lavender. It's called the Lavender Lifestyle Podcast. I would recommend you check her out. Obviously, there's a bunch of more things that you can do, so let me know in the comments down below if you have tried anything that I didn't mention or that I did mention and you liked it or did not like it. I mean, obviously, I'm not a life coach, so I personally don't know what's best. I just share my own opinion and my own experience, and I hope this helped you somehow. Now let's move on to the things that you can physically do in order to be motivated or to stay motivated. The advice that I just shared you can basically use in any aspect of your life or just in your life in general, but now I'm gonna share some tips which are specifically for online school. I know you waited for these. My first tip is to maintain your routine. So when you wake up, do everything the same as you used to do when you went to school. Get out of bed as soon as possible, do your makeup and skincare, brush your teeth, get ready for the day, change your clothes, because this way you kind of have like a set morning routine. You've been used to doing this all the time and you went to school and started studying, so it kind of puts you back into that studying mindset. If it helps, you can also pack your bag the day before and put it onto your desk, so everything is going to be ready when you want to start studying in the morning. I usually just put my study stuff on my desk so that I can just easily grab it and start studying in the morning. Otherwise, I will get distracted by something. Once you started, you are getting into a flow, especially in the morning, I feel like. So make sure that everything is ready and also adjust your routine a little bit. When I went to school, I never did my bed, but now that I had to spend all my time in my room, I think making my bed kind of made a difference, even though I really hate to admit that because I'm one of those persons who never does her bed because I don't see the point in it, but I know it makes sense, yes, but I'm working on that. And also I started to do yoga in the morning to get some like exercise, just do some stretches, or if you can go out, go for a walk, because you're gonna stay the whole day in your room anyway, so it's good to get like a little bit of movement. But essentially the key point here is to maintain a routine. When we weren't in online school, we always had a routine, right? You can start small, so maybe you can start tomorrow by changing your clothes and doing your makeup and skincare in the morning to get ready for the day, and then the next week you can start minimizing your time on your phone when you wake up, and then the next week you can start to do some stretches or workout in the morning. So just build up your routine step by step and eventually it will help you more and more. My next tip is to have a designated study space. Now I know this is not possible for everyone. If you're lucky enough to have 2 desks in your room, then it's totally easy to use one desk for studying and one desk for like leisure activities. And if you don't have a desk or your own room, just designate like a little corner or somewhere just for studying, so you can separate work from free time if that's possible. I know it's hard to separate those things, especially if you only have one desk. For example, me, I do everything that I do on my desk. I work here, I watch videos here, I study. I basically can't separate my area properly. So what I did is first I eliminated as much distraction as possible, which means I try to keep like a clean desk area. I'm not saying you have to put everything away because I'm not a fan of that either. I always need some kind of like decorations or pens or stationery on my desk. Just put the things that you don't need for studying away and put your study materials on your desk. And in the evening when you finish studying, put your study materials like your books and notebooks away somewhere where you can't see them, so you don't think about them and you can just fully focus on whatever you want to do. And then before you go back to sleep, put your study materials back onto your desk so that they're ready to be used in the morning. So essentially the main point here is to try to separate your work from your free time as much as possible. After a while you kind of get used to it and you don't need to separate it as strictly, but it's definitely good in the beginning. And then my next tip is to plan your time. This kind of like corresponds with the first tip that I had, that it's good to have like a fixed morning routine or a fixed routine in general. I personally really like to have kind of like a fixed studying schedule. It does not have to be the same every single day or every single week, but kind of similar. For example, me, I had lectures on Monday, so after my lecture I would summarize the same lecture, and then on Tuesdays I would continue summarizing this lecture, and then on Wednesdays I would do something for my seminar, and on Thursdays I would do something for another lecture. So I kind of already had like a rough plan for my week, so I know what I'm gonna do, and that way I don't fall back into this whole thinking of, oh, I don't have to do anything, but in reality I do have a lot of things to do. Personally, I really like to use Google Calendar for this, I put my timetable on there and then I planned my week according to my timetable. In the last 3 or 2 weeks of my semester, when it's like near final season, I completely dumped that schedule. I basically studied the whole day, but I'm not saying you should do this because it's definitely not healthy, but it worked for me. But throughout the semester, I tried to keep my study schedule every week as fixed as possible. And also I planned my tasks the day before, well, most of the time. That way, when I wake up, I already know what I have to do, so I don't waste my precious time in the morning on thinking of what I have to do. Another advantage of planning your time, which corresponds with the second tip, is that you have a specific time designated to studying and you have a specific time designated to doing whatever else you want. So that way you can fully focus on your task while doing it. And then afterwards, you can focus on relaxing, enjoying your time. And that way, in the back of your mind, you're not stressing out about having to do certain things because you already did everything that you wanted to do, or you studied up until a certain time that you were planning to. So that makes you feel better as well. And it's also proven that if you fully focus on one task at once rather than spreading it throughout the day and having long breaks in between, it helps you be more productive. Being productive and staying focused is something I'm going to talk about in another video. So overall, planning my time has helped me kind of get like a routine back, and also it made me feel less guilty because I was actually able to enjoy my time. So definitely make sure to try that out, either physically on a calendar or planner, or digitally on Google Calendars or iCalendar, whatever apps there are. So my last tip is to schedule virtual study sessions. So I used to be a student who really enjoyed going to libraries or to coffee shops and to study there because I just really liked the vibe, and I really like to be around people who are studying when I'm studying because it makes me want to be productive as well. But now that I have to stay at home, part of my studying culture is lost. So in order to get it back as much as possible, I started scheduling study sessions with my friends. We often had like very long Skype calls and everyone would do like their own thing. I think it's just the fact that someone is there with you and going through the same thing as you. You feel like less alone, I think, or at least that's how it is for me. But if your friends don't like to do virtual study sessions or they don't have time, you can always watch study videos on YouTube. I personally really like to watch Hello, It's Angela's real-time study videos. I really like her. I also really like her to watch her study vlogs. Yes, study vlogs are also a thing that motivate me a lot. Definitely make sure to check her out. I also have some real-time study videos on my channel, so if you want to check them out, I will link the playlist up here, or you can just simply click on the playlist on my channel. Feel free to watch them as well. Study videos have helped me a lot, whether it's vlogs or real-time study videos, so I really hope they will help you as well. So this was it for my tips and my advice from my personal experiences. I hope I was able to help some of you guys. Again, I'm not a life coach. I'm just speaking out of my personal experience and things that have helped me personally. And let me know in the comments down below what you like to do in order to stay motivated or to get motivated during online school. I love reading comments and I'm very thankful for everyone who's engaging with my videos. So if you made it this far into the video, I really appreciate you and thank you so much for bearing with me and watching up until now. And I hope you have a great day or a nice night wherever you are, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! See you soon!